Hello there and welcome to Pandora FMS. In today's video we will talk about SLA reports. We will see the different options that may be found in this Pandora FMS section and the different formats to see and download them and how to send them by email. To start off, bear in mind that all SLA reports show information about metric compliance. That is, they indicate the time percentage that the module has had a non-valid value. Another relevant point is to know that in this type of report, unknown periods are understood as valid, since there's no way for Pandora FMS to guarantee the status of the model if it does not have data on it. Likewise, time periods where there's a scheduled downtime or warning status are considered valid. In the former case, it is understood that it is a situation controlled and accepted by the user, since he is in charge of programming it. In the second case, the service is still provided even if it is not in the best conditions or in those defined as optimal. You will also have the possibility to indicate in some SLA reports which states have priority when making the summary. You will see two options. OK prioritization mode. The SLA compliance value prevails over report downtime, scheduled downtimes, unknown, and not started time. Unknown prioritization mode. Any value other than OK will take precedence. That way, report non-working times, scheduled downtimes, unknown, and not started times will be seen even if there's some data that makes the SLA to be met. If at any time the SLA compliance value is not reached, it will be in red in both modes. After this introduction, we will start by looking at the first SLA report from our drop-down. This will allow us to measure the service compliance level of any Pandora FMS monitor. The first thing to do is creating a report from this section and give it a name. Select the group it will belong to, restrict writing permissions, and add a description for information purposes. The rest of the options will allow you to see the cover and the index in the PDF report, or simply show the data if both are disabled. If you choose yes or no in the next section, the possibilities found on the main screen of the report list will vary. Being able to interact with all the options or being able to only send them by email. The next step will be to go to the item editor located in the upper right menu and select the type of report. Give it a name that will identify that item so that you may differentiate it from the rest that you add. Within there may be several modules of different agents selected to be displayed, as we will see later. You see a description whose purpose is the same as the previously mentioned one, just as additional information. The time interval will allow you to define the exact time from which you want data to be displayed, for example 1 week. By enabling this token, you may only show the incorrect SLAs or show everything if you leave it as it is by default. Next, define the time period the SLA will be working on. The graph will be fully displayed, but it will only be calculated with the data within the working time. The SLA will be unknown if the interval to display is outside the working interval. This type of report also includes the possibility to check the box 24/7. That way, the information will be collected without taking into account the working time settings and being able to compare both cases, since it will show two independent graphs. In the following drop-downs, you may choose whether to show an SLA graph, a status summary, or to show both elements, and in what order these elements will be shown. Finally, you may enable the tokens to change report settings when checking them in PDF format. Once you're done with these steps, click on Create Element. You see that the following section is enabled, where you may choose the agent and module you want to obtain the compliance information from. These two fields will be mandatory to fill in, while those referring to the value will be optional. The first one sets the minimum SLA value. Values lower than this one will trigger the SLA. It could be left blank to use the normal maximum acceptable module values. And finally, the percentage limit. It sets the correct time percentage for the SLA. When the module has been within minimum and maximal limit values during that percentage of time, the SLA will appear as correct. otherwise it will appear as failed. To save each of the elements that you configure, click on the following icon and it will be added to the list. Once you have all the agent modules on which you want to have a report, click on Display Report in the menu above. Next, you will see the data in table and graph, and each duplicate element showing the 24/7 information and the one you selected in the field work time. In the tables, we distinguish the first part where the SLA compliance is shown in percentage, and OK or fail according to whether the goals have been met. In the following, it is shown in times, indicating the days, hours, minutes, and seconds it has been in failure, OK, unknown, or non-initialized. And the last one shows the total checks carried out in the selected time, indicated how many have been correct, how many failed, and how many are unknown. Finally, you see the data represented in a graph showing the results for the 24/7 and for the selected time, indicating when the minimum and maximum parameters previously configured have not been met. Now that you have seen how to create an SLA report, take the same steps to create some similar monthly, weekly, and hourly SLA reports. Starting with the monthly one, fill in the name that you want to see in the section that will collect the modules that you will add later, a description if it is useful for you, and then the default period that you will want to collect information for. If you enable the current month token, only the information for the current month will be displayed. That is, if today were 10th July, the data shown will be those from 1st to 10th July. And on the contrary, if you uncheck it, you will be shown the data of a month backwards from today. Continuing with the aforementioned date, you would only be shown the information on SLA compliance from 10th June to 10th July. In the next section, choose on which days of the week and at what time you wish to separate the information. Right now, you will see the data from Monday to Sunday 24 hours, but we could set, for example, from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. by changing the configuration as you see. The following fields allow you to sort the report according to ascending or descending order compliance, or to keep them in the order you add the modules, if you leave it as it is by default. The following options are the same as those explained previously in the SLA report, so we'll skip them. Just click on Create and keep on adding the modules as we did in the other report. The process is the same. These same steps and instructions will apply to weekly and daily SLA reports, so we will not explain them again. We're going to create an example for each one, and then we will see all of them to see what information each one gives us. For that, click on the icon that we mentioned before, located in the upper right consoles menu. The first section that we find in the report is the one we discussed a while ago, so we will move on to the next one. If you scroll down, you will find the monthly SLA report. We see the generic data of the configuration that we gave regarding the agent, module and its maximum and minimum values, and compliance percentage that we defined as correct. Since we checked the current month option, it shows the data of the days of the current month. If you go to the item settings again and disable this checkbox and see again the report, you may see that the data is collected from 1 month back from the current date. The report collects the data in a bar that shows each day and the status available for each according to compliance, and below a summary that also tells you which days the requirements have been met and which have not. If you switch to weekly SLA report, the information shown will be the same one, but in more detail. You will see some kind of calendar on which the information will be represented, and whether the defined goals have been met, alongside enclosing a picture with the data in a table separated by total time, time it's been okay, error, unknown, non-initialized, and a scheduled downtime, besides indicating the SLA compliance percentage. The last report is the daily SLA. Here we have the information of the modules that we selected broken down into each month, day and hour, or the defined time. The left column refers to days and the upper column to each day hour. That way you will find a table that will indicate the status for each moment of the day and a table next to it that will define the same information but reflected in writing the same way you saw it in the previous report. This way we have seen how to create the main SLA reports and how to see and understand them. We have seen that some offer the possibility of defining whether you want to see the information for the current month or a complete month, but from the report view you will find another possibility. At the top you may activate the following box, which will give you the option to indicate a start and an end date for the information you want to see. That way you may define a broader time range or check the report for other dates different from those indicated by default when creating the report. Now that you know how to create your SLA reports, see them and indicate date ranges, let's see other formats that you may use to check them and how to download or send them by email. First of all, let's see what display options you have in addition to HTML. For that, go to the main view of the report list. Here you may see all you have created and some icons on the right that indicate the formats available for their check or download. The first one is the one we have used so far, that was used to see the report in the browser. The following 4 that you find allow you to download the report in XML, PDF, JSON, or CSV. And finally, you find the following icon that will offer the possibility of sending the report to the email address or addresses you wish and in the format of your choice. Just choose the type in the drop-down, fill in the next field, the address or addresses separated by commas, and indicate a subject and a message if you like so. In addition to the options you have in this report section, you may also schedule report forwarding from Discovery. Just go to the Console Task section and select the option to send a customized report by email. Indicate how often it must be forwarded, from what day and at what time, in addition to the group. In the last section, select the report, the recipient or recipients, an optional subject and message, and the format of your choosing. Now just click on Create and wait for them to be sent on the indicated date or force it from the task list view in Discovery. With these configurations and steps, you have everything you need to create your SLA reports, check them out, and send them. And that was it for today's video. Do not forget it, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Remember that if you're interested in trying Pandora FMS Enterprise, contact us to get a free 30-day trial. Thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you soon on social media and in future learning videos.